This video is going to be talking about the BXM buy right strategy, some of the data and also just the concepts of it, which really matches a lot of what the Madoff project is going to be about, and I'll show you why here in a second. Basically, we talk about the buy right strategy. That's this right here. Maximize it so you can see it. This is the PDF that is in your either Professor Patel has either posted or will soon post on Polylearn, um, where you're basically buying the index and then you're selling or writing calls at the money on a monthly basis. And so you can see here, this is where that's what the diagram or the payment structure, I guess you could call it, looks like, the profit structure. So basically the point of this, the reason why you would do a buy right, which is talked about in this article, is because it gives you, when they ran this, they showed that it gave you actually greater returns on the S&P or the Russell 2 or a lot of the other ones that they T-bills, a lot of the other ones that they compared it against, with about 2/3 of the risk. So you see here, this is about 14%, this is about 9%. So right around that 2/3 mark. So if you look here, you'll see this, the BXM. This is the that's the, I guess, ticker symbol for it. So it was announced in 2002, and like I just said, based on buying an S&P index and then writing the near term at the money covered call option. So this is really similar to the Madoff supposed strategy, in that the only thing that was different was that Madoff had a protective put leg as well. So he had a put going down this way, to basically collar his returns. So that's missing this. So there's more of risk on the downside, because it's not as protected. But other than that, it's essentially the same. So when you do your analyses here, you can see a lot of the same things. So if you open up the BXM Excel document and you go down to data, you can kind of see this prices and return setup, and you guys should know how to calculate returns at this point, and knowing that we're dealing with excess returns, so taking the returns minus the risk-free rate, et cetera, et cetera. Then to calculate some of these different measures of success, I guess you could call them. So the average monthly excess return, pretty simply, just the average of that. And for anyone who hasn't learned yet, control and shift, holding it together, will highlight an entire, all the way from here down to the bottom. So I'm on M6 right now. If I hold control and shift and I go press the down arrow, that brings me automatically and fills in to M224. If I just hold control, it drags me down to the very bottom, but it doesn't highlight anything. So you'll want to make sure to keep that in mind. Same thing goes for left and right. So if I hold control shift, it'll go till I get a blank space. So you see it goes to the blank space. If I hold it again, it goes to the next blank space, the next column that doesn't have any data in it. It's just a small thing. So then the monthly excess return, or volatility, excuse me, and you want to make sure, or remember, it's a sample, it's not a population, so you'll want to make sure that the dot S is there. Go all the way down, et cetera, et cetera. The annualize, this is where it can get a little bit tricky. So that's very simply just the monthly times 12, as you would expect. This one, you remember, you have to go, it's the monthly times the square root of 12. So don't forget about that. And then beta, which is a little bit trickier, is just the covariance of remember, it's of a sample of this So you want to go M6 to M224, and then N6 and N224. Remember, because it's the market, it's the covariance of the BXM with the market divided by the variance of the market. That'll give you your beta. That's all fairly straightforward. But then when you go and look at the Sharpe ratio, and these are some of the things that you'll want to include in your report and your analysis of the performance of the Madoff portfolio. So the Sharpe ratio is basically the performance of how much you can expect in returns per unit of volatility. So the way that you'll do this is you'll take the annualized excess return, divide that by the volatility, and that's telling you that for every unit of every percentage point of excess volatility, you're going to get 0.78% excess return, and that's what you should expect. So that's kind of a benchmark equation that people use. The trainer ratio is going to be the monthly excess return divided by beta. So again, that's telling you for every unit of beta how much excess return you should expect. And then the rest of these you can see have already been calculated, so you can calculate those on your own. One other thing I wanted to highlight real quick. Again, since you're going to be using some of these same concepts for the Madoff project, I just want to highlight the Fama French stuff. Again, this is pulled from data that's pulled from Ken French's database, which you're probably going to want to do when you do the Madoff project, so you can do your own regressions and things like that. Remember that these are in percents, and so you're going to want to convert them. So you can see here they've been divided by 100. The market factor, so your traditional CAPM, and then accounting for performance of small market over big market, or small cap over big cap, I should say, and high book to market over low book to market, so value over growth. And those you can see are regressed here. Basically, that is something that you'll want to include in your Madoff project, is an analysis using regression with Fama French. So that kind of wraps that up. Again, this is as much about understanding some of these characteristics, performance measures, returns, and things like that for when you do your Madoff project, and also understanding the basics of a buy right strategy, so that you can better understand Bernie Madoff's strategy.